One question which many people have been asking me is what is my investment style, and I have said this in the past that I don't have any holy grail of investing as to what should I do, and today I'm just trying to capture my style, and I've done an article like this way back in 2016 about myself, my own investing. Am I a speculator? Am I an investor? Am I a value investor? Am I a deep value investor? Actually, I'm all of this rolled into one, right? So there are times when I speculate, there are times when I can do a day trade, there are times when I would take delivery and then sell, then there are shares which I'm holding for at least 30 years. Okay, sorry, I'm making a mistake, even 50 years plus. There are shares. There is one share which my father bought before my birth, which means that is more than 65 years old. He bought it in 1957. That makes it 43 plus 21, 64 years ago. One investment made 64 years ago still sits in the family portfolio. That is Hindalco, right? But there are shares which I bought in the morning, sold in the evening because I thought it had reached my target. There are IPOs in which I have subscribed long ago and sold within a month because it reached what I thought was my target. After that, it may have gone up, gone down, I have no clue. I have not even tracked them, right? Because that was very clear that those were not shares in which I was investing. I was speculating. So I have a longish portfolio where sometimes I trade, sometimes I speculate, and sometimes I buy it for great dividend yield, right? So these companies may or may not have great results or returns, but they may be giving 5-6% of dividend yield, which I am happy to live with, provided there is no depreciation in the scrip itself. Because over 4-5 years, if it doubles, let's say 5 years it doubles, so which means about 14% return plus about 5-6% dividend yield. So 18-19% return is fantastic return, provided you have reinvested the dividends, and that is how you have to look at some of those investments. I have bought a share at 71 and sold it within 2-3 days at 69 because I spoke to somebody else, changed my mind and got out of that investment, right? So these things also happen. Then you copy other people's style and say what should be done. For example, airline business. I realize in the airline business everybody makes money, but the airline service provider himself, the guy managing the planes, doesn't make much money. But yes, insurance makes money, the vendors make money, some of the shops in the airports make money, most of the airports make money, much more than what the airlines make. But that's how the business is. So you take time, you learn, then you realize that the businesses which make money are the ones in which you invest, not the ones which look glamorous and everybody is saying, oh, I think this is a good buy, right? I still have some shares of some aviation shares, and I may be participating in the aviation industry through a fund through which I have invested, which invests in the US market. So definitely they own Boeing, right? So somewhere I'm participating in the airline industry without being actively participating, right? Through an investment done by somebody else, I am participating. Now, is gold speculation? Because gold does not put any cash in your hand. To me, definition of an investment is it should put cash in your hand. Gold does not put any cash in your hand. Does it mean it's speculation? Answer is yes, it is speculation, because you're hoping that 20 years later, 30 years later, somebody will buy it from you at a higher price. That's the definition of investment, right? Now suppose I buy land in a place where there is absolutely no infrastructure, nothing, and I'm able to get land very cheap, right? So I buy that piece of land and keep it there for 20 years, and I find that in 20 years the price has gone up 4x or 5x, simply because the chief minister of that state suddenly started providing infrastructure to places around it, and therefore prices went up. Is it speculation? Is it planning? Is it thinking that I knew this was going to happen? You don't know. You don't really anticipate 20 years later what is going to happen. If you say so, you're more guessing, right? So we are all guessing whether this property will appreciate more than this property. It depends on the infrastructure, quality of people, the schools available for people to migrate in, the friendliness of the local population, whether they want to accept new people, all these things. So you cannot predict all these things over 20 years. So is real estate speculative? Yes, it is speculative, but why did I do? Why did I buy? Did I buy to sell it day after tomorrow? Answer is no. I bought to keep it, saying one day when the price that I get for it far exceeds my expectation, or exceeds my expectation, or equals my expectation, on that day I will sell. So I bought it as an investor. I did not buy it as a speculator, but then it is possible that I go and I find that prices are low, and let me go and buy. So I buy something, and in 6 months prices move up and I sell. So for one piece of land I've been an investor, and for one piece I've been a speculator. So the most important thing is, don't try to classify people into tight buckets, saying he is an investor, he is a speculator, this is what he will do. We do not know. Fund managers across follow different styles. However, in their own portfolio, it's very clearly stated that this is what I will do, and that is what they do. So there are other things also which you can do. Suppose you own 15,000 shares of a particular company. You can trade in 2,000 shares. So as far as that share is concerned, am I a speculator? Am I an investor? Am I a delivery based trader, or a pure speculator? I can be all of that, right? So I have say 15,000 shares of X company. In the morning I find that the price is good, so I sell off the shares. End of the day I buy it. I can do this simply because I have the ability to give delivery. Otherwise I'm going short, and I'm going short naked, right? So don't do stuff like that. So I do this. I trade in shares which I like and own. Now this is very anti-Graham to say, because Graham says keep your investment portfolio separate and your speculative portfolio separate, or your trading portfolio separate and your investing portfolio separate. I have mixed them, and I have mixed them to good effect, because I can keep on selling a share till I am convinced that the price is not worth selling at, and then when the market falls I can buy it. Why could I sell it? Because I had delivery, right? So all these combinations of being a speculator, being an investor, all this put together makes a person a complete investor, and that's it. That's what I am. I do delivery based trading, I do speculation, I take a forward position, I try to go short by buying put options. Actually that is not so much, but it is not never done kind of a thing, right? Very few transactions, not even worth mentioning, but no, I would not ever say that that is how I do it. Also understand that journalists have to look good on the day that they write an article. You have to make money. There is a huge difference, right? So 5 years later, the journalist can say, oh God, what a stupid view I had. Now I have changed my mind. That's fantastic for him or her. It is not good for you, because you listened to that advice and acted, right? So only when you learn deep, when you read a lot of books on investments and trading, etc., know the difference and reflect on it. That's also important. Just sit with your eyes closed, think about what you read, and then you are implementing. All these things will make you a better investor. I mean, it's a journey, right? So it's not that I'm saying this is not the end of my journey anyway. So my end of journey can happen 20 years later. So I have to check whether my cognitive skills remain intact. If they don't remain intact, what should I do? So the skills required from 22 or 25 to 60 is very important, but the skills required from 60 to 80, 90 or end of life is far more important. Understand all this, and therefore see where you want to, what role you want to play in each of these markets, right? In the speculative market, in the investment market, in the primary market, and define yourself accordingly. Don't put yourself tightly into one bucket and say this is what I am, because we are not people who can be easily fitted into any one bucket. That's important. Thank you.